world has changed. America has changed. If something were to happen tomorrow, how self-sufficient would you be? Could you grow your own food? Could you sustain your own livestock? Could you survive? This is the We Grow Our Show with Nick and Don. Nick and Don talk about everything from politics to planting. They cover techniques, methods, and tips on how to not only survive, but thrive. Visit the website at WeGrowOurs.com. Lock and load. This is the We Grow Our Show. Get your grow on.
Welcome back to the We Grow Our Show. We've got a very special show planned for y'all today.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Last week we talked a little bit about
Your prepper score.
the prepper score and how bogus it was. No, just kidding. Going off of the information that they had to give me the score, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, because now again, this went from you to Doomsday Prepper
Yes.
to
Practical.
Practical Prepper,
Preppers.
who scored you based off of what they had got from Doomsday.
Yes.
All right, and you had filled out like a little survey or something.
Yes.
Okay. So you then went back and wrote a comment to them, and I had put that in our show notes too on the blog page for episode 29. And then you got a reply.
I did. Yeah, on August 16th, Vic, the guy that wrote it, he wrote, Nick, first of all, let me thank you for your reply and additional information. I have heard from many show participants that NG, National Geographic, does not show more of a person's preps, so the audience can indeed learn more. That was a little wordy, but okay. It sounds like you have thought out many of the things I'd mentioned. My intent of this review is not to poke fun or call anyone an idiot, although I have once. But to help those who haven't started prepping to not get off on the wrong foot and to approach prepping from a practical point of view. Although I don't share your idea of converting the neighborhood, I do think it could happen. In the book Lights Out, that is your scenario if it pans out, and it just may. I actually believe in bugging in rather than leaving everything you have built. I think you're doing a great job of being ready and keep it up. And if I get to AZ, I will let you know. Well, thank you, Vic. I appreciate the clear up. But the part about converting the neighborhood, you fail to realize I'm Mormon.
And so is everybody else in your neighborhood.
Pretty much.
Right?
And so we've already got a leadership establishment. We already have basically everything's divided into members of the church, responsibilities that they have, and a network of commands that could be implemented.
Are you giving away like some Mormon secrets or something you're not supposed to?
No.
Okay.
Everybody knows that the original preppers are the LDS.
That's
we were
right.
the first ones that were saying, oh yeah, you need a year's supply of food,
Well, didn't they pass a law that you can't have a year's supply of food or something like that
There's
at one
an
point?
inactive federal law that says you can't have more than 3 months food supply on hand. So what is that? What is that family to family though?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it's arguable. It's like, yeah, I've got 3 years worth of wheat stored up, but I've only got 3 months worth of bananas.
And if you want to grow it, it's only 3 months worth.
Exactly.
It's seeds, right?
Exactly.
So, I want to approach another subject that I didn't talk about before we have the wonderful Angela on about prepping with essential oils. We've actually gotten a few emails and some feedback on this whole Ferguson.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
We're not going to touch it on the show.
No?
No, I don't think
you
we
got
need
me
to.
all riled up. I'm like,
Nope,
oh yeah, let's
nope,
freaking talk about it.
I want to tell everybody out there that they should prep for things just like this in their own communities. I think you're going to see it more and more.
Yep.
And that's as far as I'm going to go with it. So if anybody has questions on prepping for situations such as that, riots, martial law, National Guard coming in, state police, anything like that, I'd love to address those. As far as the situation, I personally don't want to make any statements. Yeah.
I think there's not enough information to really make an educated.
Right. I hope people stop looting and rioting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I hope they keep protesting.
There you go.
So
on that subject, there's a flyer going around in my home area of Wisconsin that says the purge August 22nd. And it says from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. there's going to be a purge. And it's like they're passing these flyers out in Madison and in Milwaukee and the surrounding cities.
Is that anonymous?
Yeah, anonymous.
Is that who? No, is it the group Anonymous?
Oh,
I'm just curious who would be.
I'll maybe we should look it up and put it in the show notes, but it's
interesting.
Somebody sent it to me on Facebook, said, what the heck is this?
Well, are they coming out with another Purge movie, or did that already come out? I'm just wondering if it's like a
publicity stunt?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's interesting.
I think that if people acted on it, you'd have an issue with martial law almost immediately.
If they start out going, yeah,
well, I'm just saying, like, even if it's almost like if somebody were to start that off and then more people followed, it'd be an excuse to implement martial law.
Well, it's interesting. Did you know that Posse Comitatus no longer stands? In 1996, Bush signed an act that said anybody can come in and basically suspended Posse Comitatus in the case of any time that you would call the National Guard, you can now call the Army. It used to be National Guard was for inside the borders. They can actually call the Army, Navy, whoever they want now. The Posse Comitatus law was suspended in these cases, and it's such a broad wording that it's hard to say. So
big fat giant presidential loophole, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Executive orders anymore. They do what they want. So,
started on that.
Again, my response to this whole thing is I think everyone should be prepared. I think if you know your neighbors, it helps a bit, and prep for it.
Which ones to feed and which ones to
prep for it.
Put a round through.
That's right. So, moving on, more fun stuff. I hope you already know, because otherwise it'll be past by the time this episode is gone. We moved the date on the Gompers thing.
Yes.
So it's now March 3rd of 2015, March 7th of 2015.
Okay, thank you.
And 3 p.m. So that gives us some time to get some more stuff together. We are looking for sponsors for that. So if you guys have businesses, if you're interested in sending products for raffles, anybody out there, hint, sun ovens, things like that.
We're going to talk about you a lot.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you leading up to that. We're going to talk about you there. If you're a politician and you want to come out and support the community, I think it'd be great. This is not a political thing. This is an accessible garden we're trying to raise funds for. So, I want to put that out there. And then this show, episode 30.
Holy cow. 30 times we've met up in this situation room.
I know.
What will you do when your stored supplies run out? Are you prepared? Hostile Hair provides equipment and education you need to control your own infinite food supply. We have live food storage systems for rabbits, quail, and other urban livestock for any situation and strategy. Don't be limited by what's on the shelves. Get started with an infinite food source today. Get prepped, stay fed with Hostile Hair. Call 480-331-3761 or visit hostilehair.com.
So we've got a very special guest.
Yep. A little bit of a prelude to this guest. I think you guys have heard me say this before, but there are 3 things that control us. 3 things on a national level that we are led to and fro. That's food, fuel, and medicine. Now, the food and the fuel we've touched on a lot, but what do you do as far as medicine goes? Well, today's guest has a few ailments and whatnot that you can fix.
Yeah.
Without having prescriptions. She actually grows her own marijuana, right? No? No, just kidding. We have the lovely Angela Cupper in studio. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about prepping with essential oils.
So, essential oils. So I'm assuming you want to know what essential oils are.
That would be a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, because at first I'm thinking, well, I already got an oil change this month. I should be good for another 3,000 miles.
Okay, so essential oils are natural volatile substances found within the seeds, stems, bark, flowers, and roots and other parts of the plant. They are technically not an oil because they lack the fatty acid profile that constitutes an oil.
Okay, so a little bit low in lipids to be called an oil.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not good with words. Wow, all scientific-y.
Whatever.
I like having smart guests.
So, essential oil history, they date back thousands of years. Now,
We had a
course,
controversy about this before too. So
Of course, they may have looked a little bit different because back then distillation methods were pretty crude at best. They usually included wool and water and heating up of different plants and squeezing out the wool from what I've seen in order to distill the properties of the essential oils.
then they do like a lot with mortar and pestle and putting them in like some olive oil type stuff and trying to get them out
That
that
was
way.
another way that they used it. Actually, when they did it with the wool, if I remember correctly, they squeezed it out into olive oil,
Gotcha.
Oh, so the olive oil would act kind of like a holder of the.
a holder and a carrier.
Okay.
So basically, they were used medicinally and for religious rites and rituals throughout history. There's over 150 different mentions in the Bible alone about anointings and healings with oils, as well as with other aromatics such as
Oh, frankincense and stuff like
frankincense, myrrh, yes. Spikenard was one of them.
Whoa, what is this?
Spikenard.
Spikenard. Huh.
Oh, look,
Little-
he has a new nickname.
I'm going to go ahead and bring everybody into
No,
the
no,
inside
no.
joke
That's all
here.
right. We don't have to do that.
Dog's
Sure we do.
nickname is Spike. And so, yeah, I think Spikenard is, at least you gotta like brew your own beer or something and call it Spikenard.
There you go, spikenard. I'll put a little spikenard oil in it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back
Bringing
to the
us
history.
back on base here, Angela.
Okay, so during more modern times, there's a French chemist, and I'm sure I'll butcher this name, but his name was René Maurice
Frenchy McFrenchton.
Getafossi. I'm sure I just butchered that, so anyone who speaks French, please forgive me. But he discovered the healing oils of healing property of oils when he received a bad burn, and he used lavender oil on his burn, and he was impressed with the results he got. So he started studying the chemical aspects of why essential oils work and how to use them medicinally. And then I know during World War I, there was a French physician, Dr. Monsier, who used essential oils for treating all sorts of wounds, battle wounds, because of the antibacterial properties.
So essential oils, going back a little bit in your history there, because you'd mentioned that they're a little different now than they were then. So nowadays it's steam distilled.
Nowadays, yes, it's
And
steam distilled.
That basically they're running it through higher pressure, bringing it up to 240 degrees and distilling it just like anything else, correct?
Right. Distilling essential oils through straight steam involves pushing them through the steam through the plant material, and it picks up the essential oils, basically.
Gotcha.
So they're water.
Temperatures differ. It's both an art and a science because different temperatures, if you have too high a temperature, too low a temperature, the timing and other factors can actually affect the quality of the essential oil in the end
I would
product.
imagine you burn it, you can do all sorts of stuff with it.
Yeah, and if you change temperatures, this is coming from the biofuel side of it, but at different temperatures, different things break down. And so the system is actually called pyrolysis, where it's a thermal breakdown of matter. And if you've got your temperatures off, you're going to be picking up probably different stuff out of your...
I would imagine it's similar to distilling alcohol. We had talked about having different spigots on different heights of the tubes, and you would get different things out of it, whether it be ethanol or was it? Am I right?
Depending. That's... With alcohol, if you're running at 173, you're going to get pretty much pure alcohol off of the still.
Gotcha.
But the first bit that comes out is the high volatiles, which boil at a lower temperature, and those are your turpentines and
That's what I was thinking.
and the kind of stuff that you really don't want to drink because it'll make you go blind.
Right. And I mean, I would imagine this is similar to that. You're going to have heat is going to affect it.
Heat is going to affect it. That's it. Alcohol boils at 173, water boils at 212. So that's why there's a variance there.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Anyway,
So yeah, steam distillation is the normal process used, or the most often process used. There are cold pressing processes, and different essential oils can be extracted through chemical means. Usually you want to stay away from the chemical and the hexane chemically based extraction methods. because it usually leaves a residual of the chemical in your essential oil.
Okay, so now that we know what it is and where it came from, what do I use it for?
What don't you use it for? That's the question.
Okay, that's a good. All right, you got me. So there's pretty much oils for everything.
Just about.
All right. So what is? I'm say I'm brand new to oils and I don't have you,
Okay.
because she just does this for me, so I don't need to know anything about it. All right. So I mean I gotta say I've seen some of the results and I'm impressed with it, especially with the kids, and not just healing but nightmares, and whether it's psychosomatic or it's real, I don't really care. It works. So I want to start prepping. Medicine isn't necessarily an option. Some of it's hard to get. What do I want in my bug out bag? What do I want with me? What are kind of the key oils that you're going to recommend to start with?
Okay, well, before I can go into the key oils, I think it's important to discuss how to use the oils. All right. So there's 3 main ways of using the oils. The first is topically. Now, with some oils, such as lavender, they're considered safe to use topically, or neat. It's called neat when you don't use a carrier oil with it. Others are considered hot oils, and those are your cinnamon, your clove, your oregano, and in your peppermint, you're gonna want to use a carrier oil with that because it just takes some of that heat down and it helps the oil to absorb better.
Carrier oil being?
Now, carrier oil can be extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil. Of course, you want the hexane-free version. Mm-hmm. I prefer avocado oil is one of my favorites.
Now I'm getting hungry.
So you want to use a good carrier oil. Any carrier oil that you use, in my opinion, should be one that you can also dually ingest. So that's why I prefer, yeah. I tend to go with the non-GMO organic oils for that.
Okay.
So, as I said, topically is one of the ways you can use them. Aromatically, you can put the oil in the palms of your hands, rub your hands together, and sniff the palms of your hands.
That was awesome.
That was pretty good. I like it.
You can use an ultrasonic diffuser to diffuse the oils in your home.
So that's like my vapor. From Bud Out E6. Oh, I got a sponsor plug right in there. Did you see that?
I'm not sure if that's the same principle.
I'm heating this up, and a diffuser is actually ultrasonic, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
In fact, Nick had a really good way of describing that.
So, an ultrasonic diffuser is similar, actually almost exactly the same as the ultrasonic humidifier that you can get for putting moisture in the air. Basically, it's a speaker that runs at a frequency that will actually boil the water at room temperature. And it's not using heat, it's using a change in pressure. It will basically collapse the water on top of itself. In this case, it'd be a carrier oil or the oil itself. I don't know how much is dribbling onto that. I haven't played with oil diffusers, but I actually used an ultrasonic humidifier that I modified and ran gasoline through it. And hey, you know what? Hear me out though. So the standard 5.5 horse engine that comes on an air compressor, I ran that thing for 20 minutes longer on the same amount of fuel because
you pre-vaporized it.
Yeah. So it went in as a cold mist instead of a liquid.
Right.
And so I could run it much leaner and much more efficient. And it was pretty cool. I played with that for a few days and then I burned up the electronics in it because it wasn't designed for
corrosive
gasoline.
Material of gasoline.
No, it wasn't the corrosiveness. It was, I think what it was, I burned up the gate because there was a sensor in it that actually used the conductivity of the water as a resistor. And so gasoline conducts electricity much better than water.
Yeah.
And so it shorted.
It also catches on fire if it shorts a lot easier than water. So,
but if it's all under the
I'm just saying, at home, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Kids, don't try this at home.
I mean, we've already taught people how to make bombs and everything else. And remember, for Homeland Security, it's nick@hostlehair.com.
Yeah, because they're going to email me. Okay. Anyway, the idea is if any spark were to happen, it was underneath of the gasoline level.
Yeah.
So gasoline itself does not light on fire. The fumes do. So thank you, Dawn. You're a editor.
Anyway, back to oils.
So the other aromatic way you can use the oils is a diffuser pendant.
She's so patient.
She's married.
I live with you.
Of course she is.
I've had 18 years of practice. Anyway, so aromatic pendant usually consists of a locket that has holes in it, and then you take a little piece of leather or a little cotton ball, and you can put that inside the locket and put a drop or two of your oil on that. Also, a nice little thing you can do too is take cotton balls, preferably organic, and put them in the vents of your car with a drop or two of oil if you need to diffuse in your car or
Is that
vents
why
in
my
the
car
home.
always smells good? I was wondering.
No, that's
It's also
because
why
of
you
your
keep
favorite.
asking me about the cotton balls and the vents in the house.
I thought they were something else at first, to be honest with you.
What did you think?
They were little cotton things. I'm like, why are there a little, never mind.
Oh, all right, my gosh.
It's always fun at home. Okay, so you were saying, so I covered topical, I covered aromatic.
And, yep.
And now the third way you can use oils, and this is the more controversial way, is orally. There's two schools of thought. Wow, if only you could see that. There's two schools of thought when it comes to aromatherapy. There's the British school of thought, which promotes the topical and aromatic use of essential oils and discourages you from using them oily. And then,
Oily? I'm not going to edit that.
That's so awesome.
orally. And then there's the French. Sorry.
We're just looking. We're not even saying anything now.
All right. The French school of thought tends to use more oils neat and mildly diluted and includes the oral ingestion of oils. So it really depends on which school of thought you want to go with. Now, the one thing I can say that is you really, really need to be careful about the oil you choose for ingestion, and you really need to research it. Not all oils are created equal. Oils are not regulated by the FDA. They are, however, considered GRAS, which is generally recognized as safe. So what that means to you is that you need to research your oils, because people can put pure, 100% pure oil and have other chemical constituents and other oils blended in there. That's why a lot of the store brand oils will say, do not ingest, or not for ingestion, or topical use only. So you do want to be careful of that. So those are the three main ways you can use your oils.
Cool.
Okay. And as far as oils that I would recommend for a bug out bag, my number one would be lavender. When I say lavender, I mean Lavandula augustifolia.
Which is?
Lavender, true lavender, not lavadin. Lavadin is a hybrid plant. It doesn't carry the same medicinal qualities as lavender. So lavender I use on a daily basis. If you met my kids and I, at some point during the day, we are going to get bumps, bruises. If I'm cooking, I'm always burning myself. And I'm always using the lavender. If it wasn't for lavender, I'd be one giant scar by now.
So lavender, good for burns.
Good for burns,
Sunburns?
good for cuts, good for sunburns. In fact, my 18-year-old in his infinite wisdom went out without sunblock, out to lake, I believe, came home and was, Coca-Cola can red. He was complaining because his face was starting to swell, so I applied lavender to his skin, and I did that over the course of half an hour, probably about every 5 minutes, and it took down the redness, it took down the swelling, and he wasn't sore. So I truly believe lavender is one of the most indispensable things I can use. I also use it on my dairy goats. I had a dairy goat with a scur, which is basically after they've been disbudded, a little tiny horn grows back in. Well, she knocked that scur off, so she had just a raw bloody spot. So I went ahead and put lavender on it, and I came back out, checked her in an hour, and it was on the way to healing up. It was nicely scabbed over, didn't look inflamed or infected. I use it on my milking goat's teats. Before I milk, I use it after I milk. So lavender is one of those things that I would say is definitely indispensable.
So you said you use it before you milk. Does that end up in the milk at all?
No, because I go ahead and I put it on her teats, and then I wash her teats off with warm soapy water, and then water.
Nick cannot keep a straight face.
Teats, Nick.
I don't confuse my smirk for anything more than this is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You don't understand. I've seen more teats in my day than you.
I understand. You're a boy. It's okay.
No, I grew up on a dairy farm.
Wow.
I think my uncle's. Oh,
Take that as a compliment, though. I mean, this show is going downhill quick.
Oh gosh.
I was gonna say, does Shereen know how many teats you've seen?
Oh, I'm gonna refrain from saying anything.
Awesome.
At least I know that she's not listening. So.
Oh, don't worry. I'll tell her to listen to this one.
Oh gosh.
So what else what?
Okay, so other things that are really good to have in your bug out bag. Lemon. Lemon can be used as a cleaner with cleaners. It's also really good in sugar cookies.
Yes, she makes really good sugar cookies.
Peppermint. Peppermint's an awesome oil for headaches, nausea, stomach trouble. That one is one of the ones that are considered hot, so you'll want to dilute it with your carrier oil.
Is there and you may not know this, is there any of the oils you can use to help purify water?
I don't know the answer to that, but I will get back with you on that. I'll do some research.
So look in the show notes.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll look for that.
Okay.
You could put lemon in your water. It's said to help with
It makes it
cleansing
taste better,
abilities.
if nothing else.
So lemongrass is a good one to have on hand. Lemongrass can be used in bug repellents. So
I
that's
hadn't
a good.
thought of that.
Also, let me look back here in my notes. There was a couple different studies done, and lemongrass was found to inhibit the bacterial growth of resistant bacteria, according to a study.
So like a MERS.
Yes. Similar to MERS. I believe I'd have to look back in the study. There's 5 different, I believe, gram-positive bacteria. The other ones that I did a little studying on, and I'll give all you the different links in the show notes because I have a lot of different studies for any of you research geeks out there that are like me and like to see all the studies. I have a ton of them to share with you. There's a good one with oregano and thyme that were said to be effective against E. coli in a study. And then also there was one done by a university that did a mix of essential oil blend. They used oregano, thyme, eucalyptus, and lemon and administered it in drinking waters for the poultry. And it actually decreased the salmonella levels in the poultry, as well as decreased the mortality rate of the broiler chickens.
Well, and I actually remember seeing that. I read that one. And part of if you're familiar with chickens or if you have chickens, they have a crop where they store their food. So they eat the food and it goes in the crop.
Oh, like kind of like a gullet or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a little
seed pouch thing.
Food pouch. And that, the food sits in there and that's generally where the salmonella is coming from in a chicken. It's just the crop or the other side. And when you put the oils.
Or the crap.
There you go. When you use the oils, it helps eliminate that salmonella from the crop and therefore doesn't get into the bird. So it makes it a lot cleaner. And I did see that it increased the mortality, decreased the yeah, you know what I'm saying. They didn't die as often.
There you go.
How's that?
So,
thanks for clearing that up for me, Don. I was really having a hard time.
All right. So back to the list. Frankincense is another one that I recommend. Frankincense is good for many different things. People use it for breathing issues, scrapes, scratches. It's really good for skin ailments. That one can be taken internally as well. There's a lot of different studies that have been done with frankincense in various disease processes.
Okay.
So frankincense is one that I also use for skin eruptions, acne, that type of stuff. So
Skin eruptions. That is just
Actually,
not fun to even... Of course, I go full pyro. I'm thinking like grenades going off.
oh, geez. Well, no, never mind. Oregano and thyme are another couple essential oils that
So
are...
when you say oregano and thyme, I think about cooking with the spice.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a little different.
Well, actually, funny you should mention that. I've used them in cooking. I've used
The
both.
oils.
Yes, I've used the oils in cooking. Now, when you're cooking with oils, remember that oils are extremely, extremely strong. I believe it takes 15 pounds of peppermint in order to create 1 ounce of peppermint oil. So they're very, very dense, very concentrated, which is why a little goes a long way. So 1-2 drops of oregano is more than enough for a spaghetti meal for a family of 6.
So that's a good thing to put in your dehydrated food. I mean, not even just in the pantry, but your MREs, and add some flavors to them, and you can carry a little itty bitty bottle that goes a long way.
Yes.
Cool.
I have issues with allergies, and when we were up in Prescott at the Survivalist show, you hooked me up with a concoction that lasted for like 3 days. I didn't have any allergies anymore. Please tell the listeners what to do. What do you do for allergies?
Okay, so for allergies, I use lavender, lemon, and peppermint. And I did mix the peppermint in a carrier oil. You can...
Was that what turned it blue? Because I remember it was slightly blue. Or I was smoking crack. Whatever.
I think you were smoking crack, or you just still high on those smoked ribs you just ate, Anyway.
Could be.
So, you combine the 3 oils. There's a couple different ways you could do it. You can diffuse them in the diffuser. You can apply them topically. Use the carrier oil. I use a couple drops, about 2 drops carrier oil per drop of peppermint. And then put them in my palm of my hand. Now with you, I put them on the back of your neck. Mm-hmm. And I put a swipe across the forehead. Obviously, you're going to want to avoid your eyes because that can burn.
That was unpleasant.
He didn't hear me the first time.
No. Mace. Mace in the face.
Do not apply in your eyes. In fact, all essential oils, common sense rules, do not put them in your ear canals, do not put them up your nose, and do not put them in your eyes. Let's, basic common sense.
What about garlic?
We're still on
Okay,
allergies.
sorry. Well, I was thinking...
Squirrel!
I hate squirrels.
Anyway, so that's one of the ways you can do it. You can also add 3 drops of each to a vegetable capsule and put some carrier oil in that vegetable capsule. You can get those at Whole Foods, Sprouts. Go ahead and close that capsule and swallow that to take it internally.
If your oil says... If
you have an oil that is pure enough to be taken internally. So that's why those 3 are the top 3 in my bug out bag. It's because they're excellent for a whole host of things, from allergies to respiratory issues.
So what are the other common things that people are using essential oils for?
Oh, my last essential oil. Sorry.
Okay.
Before we go on,
I don't know how we do this every week and stay on track, Nick.
We don't. If you listen to the crap we produce.
I'm going to have to come in more often. All right. Citronella and tea tree. Obviously, everyone's heard of tea tree oil and the antibacterial properties of tea tree oil. And then citronella in a bug out situation can help.
The bugs out.
Exactly.
Again.
So
that's pretty important in a bug out situation, actually, because I don't know if you've ever been camping where there's a lot of mosquitoes and stuff.
I don't know if you've ever watched that show Naked and Afraid and saw their legs and what they look like.
Yeah.
Naked and Afraid, not selling it for me. No.
You've never seen that?
Sounds like my first date.
got pretty far on your first date, didn't you?
Not on purpose.
Wow.
Wow.
Kidding.
Well, now.
Continue with the Naked and Afraid.
It's a reality TV show, survivalists. They put two people out, a man and a woman, naked, and they give them one item, and they have to survive for 21 days in remote areas of the world.
I'd pick underwear. I don't know.
Nobody's done that yet. That
That's
kind of
a
makes
good
sense.
one.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right, you're naked and afraid. We're going to give you one thing.
You know-
A onesie. That's what I want. Can you just give me a onesie?
I'm surprised no one's requested shoes.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think they're. I think they're allowed one tool, and
well, shoes
usually
would
it's
be
a guy's
cool,
gonna
wouldn't
have
they?
a knife or.
You need your shoes to have like a knife in them. There you go. See? Then you can, it doubles. Then it's a tool, and then you're not stepping on thorns.
There you go. I don't know. I don't walk around my own house without shoes on us. We don't know how to vacuum though. So. Just
Might have
kidding.
something to do with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it'll keep the bugs away. Citronella's a good one.
So good starter. Go through them real quick again.
Okay, so lavender, true lavender, lemon, peppermint, lemongrass, frankincense, oregano, thyme, citronella, and tea tree.
So those are the bug out bags. That's a good place to start for people.
That is a good place to start.
Okay.
Also, if you can do it, I would suggest maybe some neem oil, N-E-E-M, because if you make a bug repellent and put a little neem oil in it, if you're in a high tick and high mosquito area, it helps to keep away the ticks, mosquitoes.
It's used on gardens too.
Yes.
People will use that in the garden. So speaking of gardens, other uses for oils outside of the house, animals. Can you use it with animals? You mentioned the goat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can use essential oils on animals. Again, you need to exercise caution. Cats, you need to be more cautionary with. They tend to have issues with synthetics. So you have to make sure you're using pure oils. And then there's some oils that cats have issues with. There's kind of a consensus that they're okay with these oils. And then some people say, no, they're dangerous. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. I don't own a cat. So if you own a cat, proceed with caution.
So, but we use it on a Chihuahua because he has seizures.
Yeah, I have a Chihuahua.
And we don't smoke the other stuff. So that's the only other thing I could think to help treat seizures with. And we can't do that. So she uses oils on them.
I do. I use oils. You have to edit this. Sorry. The Chihuahua developed seizures, and the vet said my options were, I forgot the name of the drug they wanted to put him on, but when I researched it, the common side effects was a shortening of life, liver disease, damage to the liver, and death.
And she told me what it cost, so I said no.
Well, I said no when I'm like, wow, I want to save his life, but I'm going to shorten it by years and destroy his liver. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah. And just to let y'all know that Dr. Nick's remedy is always lead.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, no.
are you feeling sick, puppy?
Anyway, my little Chihuahua, he's a good Chihuahua. Anyway, I used Valor. It's a oil blend from a company that I like on his ears, and that has helped a lot. Now, I was told by a vet at a recent seminar that I attended that helichrysum and frankincense are good as well. So, and with dogs, you can apply them topically. Now, with dogs, you usually want to use smaller amounts.
They're smaller. They're smaller
Right.
people. They're smaller than people. So.
Well, and
Especially Chihuahua.
their systems are more sensitive than ours. So,
their sense of smell is so much increased too.
Oh yeah, could you
right,
imagine?
Yeah,
you
that
need
might
to be
drive
very
them nuts.
careful introducing them to the oils. The best way to introduce them is to just take the top off and let them come up and approach you. Because if you go shoving a bottle of oil underneath your dog's nose, remember they can smell 10 times better than you, and it could cause them some trauma. It could freak them out pretty good. So you want to introduce it slowly and gently with animals.
Cool. And then the lavender on the goats.
Lavender on the goats. Peace and Calming is another blend that I've gotten. I've used that for anxiety in dogs. I know people that have used different oils for laminitis in horses,
I don't know what that is.
lame horses,
Oh, lame.
tendon issues, leg issues,
Gotcha.
and many different ailments with equine as well.
Okay, so let's go to the companies you had mentioned, Pure, not Pure.
Oh, I didn't even tell you about the testing.
Okay,
So, I don't know. Are you interested in knowing the different testing?
sure.
Okay, so one of the best ways for essential oils to be tested is through gas chromatography and mass spectrometry.
Spectrometry.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, as my tongue knots, because I talk too fast. Okay, so the gas, now I can't even say it, thanks. Appreciate that. Okay, so
Well, we all know Dawn's getting beat up tonight.
GC is a method of separating the volatile compounds of the essential oils into individual components so that they can be measured. And then with the mass spectrometry, it identifies each of the different components and their percentages. And this process can tell you if essential oils have been adulterated. It'll tell you what the main components are of the essential oils, because each essential oil basically has a, kind of like your thumb, a fingerprint or a thumbprint, so to speak, you know. It has certain things that are supposed to be in it and things that should not be, or that should be at certain levels. Another thing to keep in mind, though, with this test is that depending on where the plant grows, how it's grown, what continent it's growing on, what weather, that can actually affect the different chemicals. So there is a variance.
Pesticides are used around it.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Right.
okay, but we don't have this stuff at home.
No.
So how do I tell?
So you want to look for companies that do this testing and provide you with the proof or the reports of this testing. And there are a couple companies out there. Some of the different companies, there's a couple different companies that are direct selling companies that provide this testing. And then there's one that I know of that is not a direct selling company that does do the testing as well.
Okay, give us the names.
Okay, so
I think we can do that.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't
Right.
care.
So Young Living is one of the direct selling companies. They've been around for 20 plus years. The founder, D. Gary Young, studied abroad with some of the top chemists and distillers in the world. And that's how that company came to be. So they're kind of the granddaddy of the essential oils here in America.
And that's who you're affiliated with.
That's who I'm affiliated with. And I'll explain why I chose them a little bit later. But the other companies, doTERRA is another essential oil direct marketing company.
And they give all the testings and all that stuff too.
I've heard that they do have the testing. I don't know if they'll give them to you or not. If you contact them, you'd have to contact them. I have not contacted them on that. I just know that some of the people I'm associated with use doTERRA and have told me that they do have the testing. They were a subsequent break-off of some of the higher-ups in Young Living who broke off to form another company.
I was under the impression that doTERRA was around and Young worked for them, and then Young left doTERRA.
No, actually, Young Living was started up in the early 90s. doTERRA started up in 2008, if I believe correctly. That's when the CEO and a couple of the higher-ups had a different vision for the company.
And if anybody looks into oils, there's this like thing that happens between these two companies. So
There is. It's kind of like family. They bicker a lot, and that's about as far as I'm going to go with it, because I care more about people using the essential oils and having an alternative way to health than I do about the squabbles or bickering. And I care mostly that they have pure essential oils. So
and yeah, you'd mentioned there was a third company too.
there is one that I've seen a lot of lately. The other one is called Native American Nutritionals. From what I've seen, they have the testing results, and they'll provide the testing results.
Gotcha. So now, if any of the listeners out there know of other things, I'm happy to, go to facebook.com/WeGrowOurs and post about it, and we'll put feedback on there. I'll have Angela get on and provide some feedback too if you're interested in opinions. So now you chose Young Living.
I did. I decided to go with Young Living after looking through probably a half dozen different oil companies, mainly because of their seed-to-seal promise. I'm kind of, if you haven't guessed, retentive, and I'm bound to research something to death.
She's OCD.
Oh, good.
Okay, just slightly. Maybe a little bit. But after doing the research, I chose them because they control their product from seed to seal. They plant
Sounds familiar, doesn't it, Nick?
They plant it, they grow it, they harvest it, they personally distill it so that they know that the distillation is done correctly, and that you have a good product. They test it both in-house. They also send it overseas to be tested by a third party. One of the most renowned chemists, essential oil testers. I can't remember his name.
Sounds official.
Sorry.
We'll
edit that out. Anyway, and so they send it overseas to be tested as well by a third party.
Okay, so if people are interested in essential oils, there's 3 companies you can look at. If you want to get a hold of Angela, how do they do that?
They can get a hold of me through Facebook on My Lavender Life. They can get a hold of me via phone, which we can provide on the website at We Grow Ours. They can also email me, which is Angela Kupper, Kupper, @gmail.com.
And I'll put all this in the show notes, obviously.
And my website is mylavenderlife.com.
Okay. Thank you for all of that. Nick, do you have any other questions?
Not at the moment.
He's just happy he doesn't have allergies. Right?
I just want to add one more thing,
yes,
if I can.
I suppose.
Okay. So the information I provided to you today is not meant to treat, diagnose, or prescribe any medical treatment or advice. If you have medical issues, you should always seek the qualified and caring advice of your professional medical doctor.
Very well said. I was going to go drink some essential oils with this broken arm I have.
Nice. Well, I've actually, and you've experienced some, the allergies, and it worked for you pretty well.
It worked great.
I'm married to her, so I get essential oils all day, and I love them. And like I said, with the kids, and you can jump in too. You don't have to be quiet over there. Our kids have, bad dreams and all that stuff, and she puts a little drop here on their feet or whatever and rubs it on their toes. They don't have any bad dreams anymore.
I'm finally able to sleep through the night because the youngest was constantly coming in 2-3 times a night with bad dreams. Our middle son had night terrors. He's mildly autistic, so it's quite common for him to have the night terrors, get up and run around.
And I'm a skeptic on this stuff.
So it's...
Something's working, though.
It's working.
It's working. It's helped, I can't say anything else other than it's helped. It's helped with my migraines.
And it's not fun when she gets migraine.
So Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
You got that right.
So
I have a feeling that Dawn's going to have an editing buddy for this episode.
You think?
Of course.
Nope, I do all the editing alone with my headphones on.
Oh, yeah, that's going to work.
I'm going to leave some of it in there.
That's awesome.
Oh, no.
No, I'm excited. And I really think that this is essential, and I think that a little bit more research should be done for animal husbandry and how these oils can help in there. Because I for one, rabbits, you can buy a new rabbit for $25, $35. I don't medicate my rabbits. The only thing that I do is I put diatomaceous earth in their feed, and I put apple cider vinegar in their water. Diluted, very low concentrations. And that seems to help. If nothing else, it helps the water and it keeps the algae from growing and stuff like that. But I really don't want to spend a bunch of money on chemical medicines for rabbits that are really not that expensive in the first place.
When you're going to be eating them.
Exactly.
So anything you put in.
Ingesting ivermectin and antibiotics and all of the hoopla that goes along with it. So essential oils, and plus there are some diseases, one in particular called Pasteurella, that basically the claim is that Pasteurella is incurable in rabbits. Because, yes, it will die. Pasteurella will be killed by antibiotics, but there are capillaries in the rabbit's nose and in other places where the disease is housed that will not carry antibiotics all the way to where the disease is. And so it will not kill the bacteria.
It would be interesting to see if diffusing certain essential oils could help with that.
Yep. So that's something that could definitely...
That'd be cool.
It would be cool to try.
Another thing with essential oils, cleaning. I don't know how many people out there are still using a lot of chemical-based cleaners, but when you asked, what can you do with essential oils, you can use them more than just medicinally. You can use them to make homemade cleaners, bug sprays, hand sanitizers, and all of these things that are natural and healthy for you and your family and your pets.
Cool. I like it.
I'll give you a couple recipes.
All right. She's going to write the show notes this time.
There you go.
That's what we're getting help with.
That's where it's at. Well, Angie, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all the information. And again, that's mylavenderlife.com, right?
Yes,
and
My Lavender Life.
Facebook.com /
My Lavender Life.
My Lavender Life.
Things just got real. The drugstore is closed and the doctor is unavailable. What are you going to do? Stock your medicine cabinet and bug out bag with Nature's Alternative essential oils. Visit mylavenderlife.com for all your essential oil needs.
Cool.
There you go.
All right. And for We Grow Ours, episode 30, yay. Hopefully by the time this thing airs, we'll have hit over 50,000 downloads. Now that sounds like a lot, but 30 episodes and 50,000. It's
like 1,200 episodes.
No, it's a lot. It's more than that. So we are still looking for some show sponsors if anybody's interested. It's not expensive and we get your name out there and it helps pay for the hosting and that's about all we're looking to do with it. We will never charge for listening to the podcast. We're not going to go to that model. It's not going to happen. I'd rather stop doing it before I started charging for it. So we'd love to have a couple sponsors for us. We would love to have a couple sponsors for the Gompers Garden event coming up in 2015. Keep that in mind. Start pushing people out. The event's posted on our Facebook page at facebook.com/WeGrowOurs. Check out the website. Ask us at WeGrowOurs.com/ask us. Click the send voicemail button and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/WeGrowOurs. Did I get everything? I'm getting good at this. You can't just kind of roll with it. After 30 episodes, It works.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.